I want to thank you, and you, and you pretty girl, and you. You have traveled far and wide to come and fill the arena as a show of force that the Jamaica Labour Party is ready, that the Jamaica Labour Party is strong, that the Jamaica Labour Party is rearing to go. You have come today to say to Jamaica, we are ready to build a stronger Jamaica for all.
Place your foot with the JLP, yeah. Jamaica, recovering stronger. Recovering stronger.
Today, I want to point out to you, give you some information. So when you go back to your constituency, you can explain to the people who stand on the sidelines and say, where you go a conference for? Where you learn? Where you get? Well, when you come to a Jamaica Labour Party meeting, you leave with more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding than when you came. We feed our people with correct and truthful and valuable information, and it therefore makes you a better citizen. This year, Jamaica celebrates 79 years of universal adult suffrage. You know what that means? It is 75 years now since any Jamaican, from any race, from any class, of any color, once you're over 18 and a few other requirements, you have the right to vote. 79 years. You know what that makes us? I keep saying it, and it has not yet been challenged. Jamaica is the oldest black continuous democracy in the world. Jamaica is the oldest black democracy in the world. You have helped to keep that tradition. It is you who have made our democracy possible. When you jump on the bus, take your taxi, pay your own way, you come to conference, you are the people who make Jamaican democracy strong and vibrant. You make us stronger.
You make me stronger. You make me stronger.
When I come to talk to conference, I am talking to the people before me. Each and every one of you, I'm having a personal conversation with you. But I'm also talking to the people who are listening all over Jamaica. I'm especially talking to those who may be frustrated with politics, who may feel that this is an exercise in futility. I'm especially crafting my message to reach out to them because they are an important part of our democracy, and we cannot leave them out because the Jamaica Labour Party, as you have seen, is the inclusive party. We want to bring everybody under our tent for one solid, robust and resilient, fair and equitable and just society. That is what we want to do. So we reach out to everybody. And as you would have seen on the platform, the Jamaica Labour Party offers a home to everyone. So allow me to acknowledge our Jamaicans in the diaspora who are listening, and many of them are listening. But allow me as well to acknowledge the members of the diplomatic corps who are here. As a small country with an open economy and an open society, Jamaica supports the cooperative system of nations, and we will do our part to make the world a better place. Whether it is support for disaster recovery of our neighbors, as we did in Dominica and the Bahamas, or in supporting peace building in Haiti, Jamaica is doing its part. Jamaica is consistent in its support for the universal respect and adherence to the principles of international law and respect for territorial integrity and the sovereignty of all nations. We condemn all forms of terrorism, and we support the right of nations to defend themselves and pursue their security while preserving the rights of innocent civilians to live in peace and dignity. We are deeply concerned at the rising human cost in the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, and we welcome the current pause in hostilities. We urge all parties to seek a permanent solution, and we remain convinced that this can only be achieved by a negotiated two-state solution enabling the Palestinians and Israelis to live securely in peace and dignity. Jamaica continues to be a reasonable and rational voice in international fora. We continue to lead global initiatives and treaties, whether in trade, finance, or climate change. Whatever treaty obligations we negotiate or sign on to, it must be consistent with our laws and constitution, and we must engage with local stakeholders within our democratic framework. This has been our approach, even as it is that we are determined and committed to ensure that our local financial system is robustly compliant with the International Financial System Financial Action Task Force recommendations for anti-money laundering and other illicit activities. We want our financial system to meet the highest international standard, as we believe this will make Jamaica a stronger and safer destination for investment. So it is with the Samoa Treaty. We believe that the trade and economic opportunities it presents will be beneficial for Jamaica. And as we pursue these opportunities, we must engage, explain, and reassure our stakeholders of the various provisions in place to respect our values and laws as a sovereign country. I know the Minister of Foreign Affairs has already started the process of engaging our stakeholders. Now, labor rights, Jamaicans listening, we don't always bring these issues to our conference, but it is important that our political platform is broadened to treat with some of these crucial issues. Issues such as climate change. This is not only about the emission of carbon. This is also about climate justice. Have you noticed that the time is getting hotter? 2 years ago, we recorded the hottest time in Jamaica. Have you noticed that the sea level is rising? That some of our roads are being threatened? That some areas where you had land before, land not there anymore? Have you noticed that our rainfall patterns have changed? It used to be that most rain fell in the northeastern end of the island. Portland used to get the most rain. In the last 8 or so years, it changed. The northwestern end of the island gets the most rain. Have you noticed that almost every year I have to come to Parliament and give a report about damage as a result of a weather event? That is because of climate change. You may not feel it's a big issue, but it is a big issue for the government. Because as these things happen, we have to find more money. And where is that money going to come from if there is a catastrophe or a disaster? Well, your government has taken this issue and we are dealing with it in a smart way. We have never had to borrow to deal with any issue of natural disaster since we have been government. We are the first country in the region to take out a catastrophe bond. It's almost like an insurance policy, that if a real serious disaster happens, we can pull on that money. I want to say a collective thank God that we have been spared the worst in any of the disasters that have affected us. And Jamaica, as a small country, we continue to do our part to reduce the effect of climate change. I don't know how many of you saw it, but Jamaica recently put out a procurement for 100 megawatts of renewable electricity, replacing our old carbon-based generation for electricity. Big step. Our goal is to move our electricity generation to having 50% of the electricity we consume from renewable energy. Now that will help with the whole climate change, but it will be better for you. I know one of the things that affect you the most is your electricity bill. I know that that is a significant cost for your household. If we can reduce or make stable your electricity bill, your quality of life will improve. One of the ways to do that is to be less dependent on oil. If you have a war in the Middle East, what happens? The price of oil go up, and who have to pay for it? You. But if you're generating electricity from your own solar and your own wind and your own hydro, then we can mitigate those costs of energy. I want to tell you as well that we are thinking way ahead. The government that you elect is thinking way ahead. How many of you know that the University of the West Indies has a small nuclear reactor. You know that little Jamaica has that for research purposes? Yes. The technology has moved so far ahead in terms of cost and safety that we must also now explore the use of what they call small modular nuclear reactors for the production of clean energy that will give you what they call firm capacity on your electricity grid. If we manage to do those two things, we will transform the energy sector in Jamaica and ensure that every Jamaican don't have to worry about their electricity bill. We can end energy poverty in Jamaica. No more bridge light, no more teeth light, no more hide and borrow light from your friend. You should have electricity affordable so that you can enjoy the best quality of life. And your government that you elect, that you support, is thinking way ahead of the rest as to how we can get to that destination. My friends, the Jamaica Labour Party is celebrating its 80th anniversary. 80 years of stewarding the public's affairs, ensuring our democracy and freedom and advancing the struggle of our society and the prosperity in our economy. Our founder, the Right Excellent Sir Alexander Bustamante, national hero, laid an enduring ethos which continued to advance Jamaica today. At the launch of the party, in a meeting like this at the Ward Theatre, he said, summed up, the whole objective of the party boils down to a few things. A few positive points not based upon extreme political philosophies incapable of attainment. That has always been the foundation of the Jamaica Labour Party. We don't believe in extreme philosophies incapable of attainment, but practical points which involve in the main a better Jamaica, stronger and healthier population, more intelligence, a balanced relationship between employers and employees, government and people, moderate and timely evolutionary progress in the march with other countries, and protection of the weak and defenseless against abuse. That is what our founder of the party said, and that is what we continue to do in all our policies, every one of them. Today, our policy agenda is much wider. As I mentioned, part of our policy agenda now is climate change. Part of our agenda is ensuring gender equality and women's rights. I want you to understand that the Jamaica Labour Party is responsible for more women entering representational politics than any other political organization. And it wasn't by accident. It was by a deliberate policy that I instituted. Constitutional reform. We have brought that onto our policy agenda. They've been talking about it for how many years? And the moment I start to do it, all kind of problems. They had how many years to do it, they never touch it. But me go take it all now, and it's bare argument. But we're still getting it done. I don't watch the noise in the market. I watch the results that we produce. I want to commend Minister Malahou Ford, who has been given this specific charge to move our nation to the next step, that of becoming a republic. We have brought on in a serious way onto the policy platform the digitalization of the country, our national ID, bringing more services online. We are putting in place GovNet. When you drive around Kingston, you see them digging up some road lanes, some cables. That is bringing in more broadband so that all public sector entities can be on the internet so that you can access them virtually. We are putting in the new broadband system where we are going to increase broadband internet access all over Jamaica. Almost everyone here use cell phone. Cell phone costs a lot. Data costs a lot. For you to get information, you're going to need to be able to afford data. And for us to make data available, we have to make it accessible right across Jamaica at a reasonable price. And that is why we are doing this national broadband network. We have taken that agenda on, transforming Jamaica in ways that are meaningful for the people.
Recovery stronger. Oh yes, my people stronger. All right.
We have done the most for the environment than any other government. All you hear them talking. We are the government that have declared more areas protected and have designated more areas, including the cockpit country. No other administration has done what we have done. Still far to go, but don't deny the work that we have done with the environment agenda. Education reform, my pet subject. We are going to transform the Jamaican education system. All of you sitting here have children in school, and some of you are of school age. You know what my greatest worry is? My greatest worry is that our education system is not producing enough of the human resources we need to support the development of the country. That's my greatest worry. And we are seeing it happening now. As the economy is growing, it is growing past the labor force that we have. And that is why we put in place the Education Transformation Task Force to study the problem. And they have given us the report, and we are about to execute upon that now. Just last week, Minister Favour Williams and Minister Clark signed with the World Bank to build the first STEM school. You know what STEM means? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We need more scientists. We need more people who understand in technology, whether it is artificial intelligence or natural intelligence. We need more engineers, and we need more people who have a mathematics foundation. Every time I say that, you have some people say, remember the arts. We have a natural competitive advantage in the creative arts and the creative industry. We haven't utilized it enough. We haven't formalized it. And so it's not just a STEM school we're going to be building. We're going to be building what we call a STEAM institution. So it is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Education is the key to success. You me a talk to the young and restless.
No matter how much house I hand over, no matter how much groundbreaking I go, people still say, boy, I can't get no house. And it is true. It is so true. In the existence of the NHT, over 45 years now, they have built about, I don't think they built 120,000 houses. The deficit that we estimate from the last census, 11 or so years ago, is that we need about 150,000 housing units. You know what that is for? The people who are going to capture land and squat, we need to find a house for them to buy, affordable. The people who graduate from university and then get a good job and like how the pay gone up now, All of them are look for buy a little house, a little apartment. Them want for them house. All the professional and middle class, they are looking for a house as well. The market is generally serving those, but they still need more. We haven't started to build enough houses. But because we have it on our policy agenda, we have committed to build 70,000 new houses. And that is already underway in various stages. All around Jamaica, we start building houses. If you look at Bernard Lodge, a massive house is going to go there. You're going to get between 10 and 15,000 houses in Bernard Lodge, which has started construction. Just go over there and look. When you talk about security, a sore subject that is always on our policy agenda. One of the things that we have done, for decades they have been talking about the transformation of the police force. You see our police force today? Transformed. Man commit gruesome murder, and within days he's found. No matter where him think him can hide, we now have invested heavily in the technology. We have built the partnerships. We have bought equipment. We have trained our policemen in forensic. We have trained them in investigation, and they will find you wherever you are when you have committed a crime. But I want to tell you that we need to do more in preventing the crimes from happening. And that is why we are increasing the penalties for some of these gruesome crimes. It is always a puzzle to me that there are some people who want us to be soft on crime. There are those who have no sympathy for the victims. It would appear that they have more concern about the perpetrator. We must protect the innocent citizens of our country. We must support the victims of crime. We must never give any preference or any preferential treatment to the criminals. And that is why we are going through all the various laws to increase the penalties, to act as a deterrent. There are some who say that arresting people and locking them up is not a deterrent. You know, Jamaica has probably the lowest incarceration rate in the Caribbean. The lowest. We talk about energy already. Now I want to talk about roads. Roads. I know many of you come here to hear what the Jamaica Labour Party is going to do about the state of our local, secondary and community roads. Minister Montague went on and on and on. I thought he was the Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, telling you about all the wonderful highways we are building. But I know that local roads are a sore point, very sore point. And that is why we have allocated 40 billion Jamaican dollars over the next 2 budgets. $40 billion. And we're going to divide that $40 billion in half. We're going to spend in the first year $20 billion divided equally per constituency. And we are going to fix the local roads in your area. But you know, It can be done. Thank you, Deputy Chairman. It can be done just so. It have to go through public investment, then it go through something called procurement, and then after procurement, then it go to the contractor to take it over, and then it gets done. So all of that will take a little time. We are trying to cut that down to as short a time as possible. But there is another step that needs to be done. That $40 billion can't fix all the roads that have never been fixed in Jamaica. Some roads from them late 40, 50 years now, it never fixed. So there has to be engagement of the communities. So every member of parliament will be tasked to use the model that has been developed with the CDF to have consultations with every community in their constituency so that the residents can make their case for the roads that need to be fixed. Every member of parliament should take this opportunity to engage with their constituents in having a reasonable and rational discussion about which road is going to be repaired in the first phase of this project. When you talk about bringing democracy to the people, this is how you bring democracy to the people. You must have a say in which road gets repaired. Now, not every road going to be repaired. Some road not going to be, but a lot of them will be. But you should have your say, nevertheless, about your road being prepared. So come the second week of January, all members of parliament will have to develop their consultation plan and submit it to the office of the Prime Minister. We are going to monitor and review that the consultations are taking place.
Liberal.
The MPs, along with their councillors, must consult with the people. And they have to do it within 2 months because we need to have those roads into us before the end of the financial year so that we can put them in the process to start repair. Public transportation. I know a lot of you have it hard out there. The buses, the taxis, the struggle to get to work. And when you get to work, you're tired and upset. I know, I get the complaints. So between Minister Clark and Minister Vaz, we have a plan to bring over 300 buses into the JUTC. A procurement is already out for 100 of those buses, and we are working for the next 100 to come. Hopefully we can get that in the next fiscal year, and then the other 100. We are not just going to buy diesel bus. There will be some diesel bus. But we are looking to change out the technology. We are going to be buying buses that use what they call compressed natural gas. It's cheaper to use, easier to maintain. You get a longer service life. We're going to buy electric buses as well. But you know, like, a lot of other things in Jamaica, somehow the diesel get missing. Just mysterious. So the bus will drive 1 mile and then it have a refill. The diesel missing. You can't do that with CNG. You can do that with electric bus. So you know how much money you will save as taxpayers by changing out the buses. Now I want you to know that it's not only about changing out the buses. That's one part of the strategy. But you're supposed to be able to set your clock on the arrival of the bus. We want an efficient bus system that will get you to work on time in a clean and comfortable way. And so we are buying enough buses to do that, but we are also going to change up the administrative structure of the JUTC to ensure that we have a proper urban transportation system that all Jamaicans can be proud of.
JLP!
It pains my heart to see the videos of our gullies inundated with rubbish and plastics and all kinds of things. It pains my heart to drive on the streets and see garbage all over the place. It's not good. And every one of us as Jamaicans must take personal responsibility. So I use the platform of the Jamaica Labour Party conference to call upon the people who are the green people, the environmentally friendly people, that every one of you, you have a duty to keep your environment clean. I call upon all Jamaicans to have that sense of pride about your front yard, your gate, your street, your community. But government has a duty and a responsibility. For many years, we have underinvested in the collection of waste. And what we have followed is a model where government collects the waste. In most countries, services that can be provided by the private sector is contracted out. One of those services is the collection of waste. And so what we intend to do, we have been studying the problem now for the last 5 years. We have copious number of studies. We are now going to privatize the collection of waste in Jamaica. This is going to create a new incentive for the collection of garbage. It is going to bring new investments into garbage compactors, and it is going to bring new management to the process of garbage collection. The role of the NSWMA will then move from that of a service provider to being that of a regulator. So what they will do is to ensure service quality is delivered from the private garbage collector. It is the same model that we have used with the Port of Kingston. We had the Port of Kingston for many years. We never had the money to expand it. We divested it to private operators. They put up the money, and now the Port of Kingston is expanding rapidly. The same thing will happen with our garbage collection. This is a forward move, and this will ensure that our communities are kept clean. There are more things to be said on garbage collection, including the plan to close the Riverton City dump. That is well underway, but I'll give you more information on that. I want to talk very quickly about the economy. All of you have heard already. Everybody who has come up to speak would have told us about how well we have done in our economy. You know, you might say, well, it sounds good, but I don't see it yet in my household economy. And there are many Jamaicans who, we must admit, feels this way. When we talk about the debt to GDP go down, we talk about stable inflation, stable exchange rate, stable interest rates. It sounds good. But for many Jamaicans, they're wondering, how am I not seeing it yet in my pocket? Well, the truth of the matter is, when inflation goes down, everybody benefits from it. You go to the supermarket and you can have a little bit more confidence in the prices. We have increased the base wage level by increasing the minimum wage by over 100%. And through the public sector compensation review, we have increased public sector wages by a minimum base of 20%. Significant increases have happened. It is the economy that is going to create the engine of prosperity. And until we fix the economy, we can't really deal with all the other challenges that we face. And that is why in our first term and the greater part of this term, we have spent a lot of time on fixing the economy, placing the economy on a sustainable path. Within the next 2 to 3 years, every Jamaican is going to feel the benefit of that in some way. You're feeling it now. We have the ability to subsidize transportation to reduce the cost. We are increasing benefits in student loan. We are doing all kinds of benefits. We are giving back to people so that you can feel the benefit. Look at the social housing program. All of that is coming from the economy. The biggest give back when the economy does well is employment. Jamaica is experiencing its lowest level of unemployment in the history of Jamaica.
Shout, 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 shout.
So more Jamaicans now have jobs than at any other time in our history. What more could anyone ask for? When you have job, you get income. You get income, you can buy the amenities of life, you can save, you can invest, you can own property as a result, and you're on the path to prosperity. And so more Jamaicans, by virtue of being employed, is on the path to prosperity. But what is the next mission? What is the next mission for you? We have, by and large, put Jamaica on the path to economic prosperity. The next mission is to put Jamaica on the path to productivity and peace. I want every Labourite to remember that. When we started in 2016, we said we are going to build a partnership for prosperity. The new mission for the Jamaica Labour Party is to build a partnership for productivity and peace. As a Labourite, that is what your mission is. Our mission now is to see Jamaica a productive country and a peaceful country. And I want to talk very quickly about the productivity issue. All the salary increases that we are giving in the public sector, there are two things that threaten it. The first is inflation. If we don't manage inflation, the increased salary don't mean nothing. The second thing is productivity. if we don't increase our productivity, grow our GDP so we can grow our revenue, so we can continue to pay, then the salaries will not be sustainable. So every Jamaican now must be thinking about how can I become more productive. Government needs to help in that. We need to train our people better. We need to train them in skills that are aligned to industry. And that is why we are pushing hard to do what they are doing. We have made access to heart free. If you want to go to heart to get a skill, it is free of cost to you. And I encourage every single Jamaican who is not employed, who doesn't have a skill, who wants to work, to go out and get trained. The last thing I want to talk to you about is peace. Jamaica is not a country at war, but our homicide rate, our death due to violence, equates countries that are at war. What it means is that Jamaica is in conflict. And who are we in conflict with? We are in conflict with ourselves. We are in conflict with our neighbor, our family, our intimate partner, our employers and workers. We are in conflict with our teachers and students. And we are in conflict, citizen and state. Everybody must start to think about this. We cannot continue to be a society in conflict with ourselves. If it is one thing, therefore, that this administration must do, starting in this term and for the next term, is to put measures in place to deal with the unabated violence that is like a disease, like an epidemic in our society. So we have commissioned a study on it, which we should get by the end of this year. And when that study comes in, we are going to reorganize the government to create and bring all the agencies that deal with families, communities, social development, parenting. We're going to bring all of them together under one ministry. I'm thinking of calling it the Ministry of Peace and Human Development, but maybe that won't be the name. But we need a ministry that is focused on reducing the level of violence in our society. Violence is at an intolerable level, and it is changing the character and nature of the Jamaican people. It is reducing the quality of our lives, and it is making us aggressive with each other. But violence comes at great economic cost. If we can reduce violence in our society, we reduce our healthcare bill, we reduce our policing and security needs, and we increase our creativity and social well-being. So yes, this government is going to take a deliberate and focused approach to violence. My friends, next year, at a date to be announced, at a time of my choosing, we will be going back to the people and the local government election.
Acres of a market, a brother that they don't want it. Tell them to play with me, a future with.
We have no fear in facing the people of Jamaica. We believe in the people of Jamaica. We know that there is a generation of Jamaicans who were not born in the 1970s. And they have no clue as to how the other party destroyed Jamaica. They have no clue. There is a generation born in the 90s and the early 2000s. They have no clue as to how the 18 and a half years of the PNP destroyed Jamaica.
Jamaica, them can't hold me again. Can't hold me again. But mine can't hold me again. Can't hold me again.
And so we know we have a task to educate them. It's a long time that I have not gone into what I call the historical politics, so that the full context of where we are today is understood. Our young people need to appreciate how far we are coming from and what we had to struggle against, so that they can understand what we have achieved today and how we have transformed Jamaica into the gem of the Caribbean.
History will make you know. History will make you know. Above yourself, try your fears for the tears. Up in the bed.
10 years ago, if you were to define Jamaica, you would say Jamaica is a country with high debt, high inflation, high unemployment, unstable exchange rate, low reserves, poorly rated on the international market, a country on the brink of bankruptcy. If you ask the international community today, they tell you Jamaica, we are upgrading their ratings and we are giving them a positive outlook. Jamaica is getting the best ratings it has ever gotten in its history. That is not an achievement that should be ignored. And when you go to the polls, the voters should not ignore that, because that is the basis on which you are going to achieve everything else. And today, I have laid out for you our policy platform, the issues we are going to deal with. We haven't touched all of them, but I've touched most of them. And I've also laid out to you, in addition to continuing our economic development, that we are now going to go on 2 other streams of development: productivity and peace. I want to build a partnership with you. It's the partnership for productivity, the partnership for peace, and the partnership for prosperity. God bless you. I love you all. You make me stronger. Love you.
Come on and do your part. Vote for the best. Vote for Jamaica Labour Party.
Labor rights. Before we bring conference to an end, right, it would be remiss of me not to dismiss the rumors on a newspaper article this morning accusing this great party of paying people to come to our 80th conference. Labor rights from across Jamaica came on their own, mash down that lie. It is a disrespect to the Jamaica Labour Party. Labor rights, you have just heard from the builder, the Prime Minister, Michael Andrew Holness.
Equal rights and justice is our everlasting song. Unity and progress will make our nation strong. Stand up for your rights when you hear the bell. Stand up for justice, hear the freedom bell. Remember Buster Manti, he served you well. Stand up, Jamaicans, when you hear the bell.
On labor rights, those of you not in a hurry, we have Kukudu and this band coming right after.